foundation, to be associated with them in whatever small way, to be associated with Moanoghar, to be associated with the memory of the Indigo Lady, Ruby Auntie, I don't know, Jamdani Lady, and just by the by, Ghuznabi was a friend of mine for a few decades, so I had also met, although briefly, Ruby Auntie and Fred Uncle, and I met the sister today, met her briefly. So just reminiscing on one of my visits to the Ghuznabi residence in Dhaka, Moanoghar, Fred Uncle and Ruby Auntie handed over a record, 33 RPM, record of Farida Parveen's songs to give to my grandmother, Rajmata Dinita Roy. And they were friends of my youngest aunt, Rakhi Rajastri, who lives in United States. But anyway, this coming to Moanoghar, its journey really, it's like a saga. It's like an enigmatic journey, and it has had so much of challenges to overcome to give you what it is today. The school and college, and you have seen today from our young people, the young ladies, they're singing and music. There was challenges, there was opposition, there was suspicion from the extreme right and from the extreme left, as it usually happens. We haven't got over that in Bangladesh yet. Well, extreme left is not that big a group in Bangladesh anymore. But so that's Moanoghar. And I was just thinking as I was listening to these songs and singing the dances, Apnara Paharer গান আর নাচ উপভোগ করলেন, আমি এই অনুষ্ঠানের পরে সময় পেলে তোমাকে দিয়ে যাবো পৌষ উৎসবে পিঠা খাবো, শুনছি কাশেন সোনাকে হবে জামদানি শাড়ি, আবার রুবি আন্টিকে মনে করছে। So this, I want to take you back, actually it's not just the orphanage and the school, that this place called Boal Khali in Dighinala, Upazila in the northern hill tracts. This was once declared a forest reserve by the British government, called it the Miney Reserved Forest. Obviously, the British did not bring the forest from London. They just enclosed this area and called it a reserved forest, where everything except breathing was an offense. It still is, by the way. All the rest of it. The forest laws of Bangladesh are horrible. I'm saying this because after people's struggle, this forest was de-reserved and called the Miney Valley and handed over as an annex to the Chakma Circle. And it was during the time of my great-grandfather, Raja Bhuvan Mohan, in 1914, that it became a sort of a regular part of the hill tracts, where you could, apart from breathing, you could cultivate, you could build your houses. And that's where there was this monastery called Doshabol Raj Bihar, and where a few Buddhist monks took in this initiative, I think in the 1970s to the 80s, to start this orphanage. And one of these monks was Venerable Gyanasri Mahatera. He just passed away a few months ago, nonagenarian. And with him, and there was another great personality, the Venerable Vimal Vishya Mahathero, who now lives in Kolkata. He's in his 80s too. He's also established another orphanage. I'll talk a little about that if I have time. Please do remind me if I go too long. So, our family in the Chakma Circle have not been really in the thick of it all. We were not, and we still are not, involved in the day-to-day administration But we have been apart whenever it sort of the opportunity occurred to be an ally with these wonderful monks, laypersons, teachers, students, administrators, and the philanthropists, those who funded, like the Mujibur Rahman Foundation today. And of course, thanks are also due to, I think, the government of Bangladesh and the Department of Social Welfare, successive ministers of Chittagong Tracts Affairs and others, who supported the efforts of the orphanage and the school committee and the board today. We have Ms. Dinopadevan, the Vice President, and others, Ashok. And there has been so many times, I don't know, I pick up the phone and call Ashok, and there's another gentleman, Kirtini Shanchak, who is going to come get off the plane and join us for lunch. Hey Kirti, hey Ashok, here is this girl from such and such village. I don't know if I'm going to get the funds or the supporter. But his father died, her father died last month in an accident, needs to go to school, get a place, and in many, many, many places, the orphanage, the people supported my requests, due or undue, reasonable or unreasonable, but it's all for these students of underprivileged backgrounds who would never have made it to a school in Rangamati headquarters. And many of them, thankfully, have had the opportunity of also studying in elsewhere outside the hill tracts in Chittagong, Dhaka, and elsewhere. And now, again, going back to the 1980s now, after the 70s it kicked off, then there was this huge political unrest in the Chittagong hill tracts, militarization, resistance, struggle by guerrillas. And then a lot of people had to flee and take refuge in India across the border, 1986. There was arson, killings, etc. And the orphanage, the authorities, the teachers, they also had to take refuge in nearby in India. They came back about a decade or so later. And in between, I have to add the name of one other person who's been involved very closely after the 1980s. His name is Pierre Marchand. I don't speak French. It's an NGO for third world children. Partage, headquartered in Compiègne or Paris. And he was a great, great supporter of the orphans, and he even facilitated 72 orphan children who became adopted by French parents in France. And many of them still keep very close ties, including the foster parents, with Moanoghar and the hill tracts, and are engaged in school buildings, school scholarships, and so forth. And Pierre was there, I think, during the 50th or 60th anniversary of Moanoghar about a year ago. And I was so happy to meet him again, and also to know he was one of the few people who pushed Moanoghar to accept female students. You know, with Buddhist monks, Theravada, blah, 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 how would you have these male monks and female students there? And I think it's Pierre's determination and his debate with the monks, and the venerable monks capitulated. And so today we have student monks, we also have teachers like Ghuznabi here. So there's been many struggles, but Moanoghar is there. And there are a few other things I just want to mention. Moanoghar has also been, has facilitated the access to schooling and education for the villages of Rangapani. And I think our choreographers associated with many of these people from Rangapani village. Although in Rangamati, ওই যে বাংলায় বলে না কি বাতির নিচে অন্ধকার না কি বলে এরকম কিছু মক্কালোকে হাউস পাইনে জাতীয়. And Rangapani village did not have graduates beyond SSC level and all that. And they actually also campaigned that the school and Moanoghar is here. We want to quota. We want Moanoghar to allow a certain percentage of our village children to attend as day scholars as well. And so Moanoghar allowed that. So it's also Rangapani village, next to which is Moanoghar, who got the opportunity of the schooling and later college and all that. So Moanoghar has facilitated education in many ways to many parts. I remember supporting one son because his father helped me in a very remote area, pulled me on a raft, and anyway, his son was put to school. Poor chap died. He had malaria or something. But his younger brother went, and he's now doing his bachelor's and also working in my office part time. So these are all these little stories I call. And the other thing is that Moanoghar has also offered loans to students. So I was once so overwhelmed sitting with scholars. No, they didn't actually study in Moanoghar, but they got loans from Moanoghar to do their masters or whatever they were doing. And some of them have passed BCS, have become police officers, senior police officers, Bangladesh Civil Service and all that. So Moanoghar has had all these things in so many ways. And one thing that always rings at my ears actually is, I don't know, some of you have heard it probably. There's a school song, Moanoghar. Ama Zaga, Ama Gor, Ama Idhu Moanoghar. So there was penned by Shugato Chakma, happens to be a cousin, a poet with a physics degree. And so, and the Moanoghar song and many of the things that Moanoghar stands for. And lastly, I'm very happy to see that the number of non-Chakma speakers. Chakma is the largest group. It happens to be the Chakma heartland Rangmati. Obviously, Chakma students intake is the largest. But over the years, the number of intakes from Mro, Chak, Marma, Tripura, and other Buddhist, Christian, Hindu, whatever religion or faith you have, has increased. I don't know, there's still a critical mass which allows these students to talk to each other in their mother tongue in a Chakma-dominated area. Bangla is of course there. So I hope, and here I'm speaking to Nirupa Mashi to me, she's known this since I was a kid in school, and Ashok here, Goyrika Di here, that the Moanoghar authority is sort of bends over backwards to bring these groups to the most socio-economically